Hello and welcome to this video. In this video I will be explaining what hosting and domain name is. What is hosting? Hosting basically refers to a remote site that hosts or has the content of your website stored. So basically what that means is that the content of your website is stored in a remote computer somewhere else in the world, and the computer is called a server, which are very powerful computers that are always on 24 hours a day. And normally these computers have a lot of resources and they have the network capabilities to cope with multiple requests to the server. If you had your website stored on your local computer, it will not be able to cope with the influx of requests, especially if it's a high traffic website. So hosting basically refers to a remote computer somewhere else in the world that holds the content of your website. Hosting can be shared or it can be dedicated. When hosting is shared, basically what that means is that the remote computer, which is a powerful computer known as a server, has other people's websites on the same computer. So you're actually sharing the resources of that computer with other websites. A dedicated hosting basically means the machine or the server is dedicated to just your website and only your website is stored in that computer. So the content and everything is not shared. So it's dedicated to your company or your website. There are so many companies that can host your website for you. So it's just a question of doing a Google search and seeing and looking at reviews as well to see which one suits you. They all offer different types of hosting packages. There are several advantages of having shared hosting. The first and the most significant advantage is that it is much cheaper than the dedicated hosting. There are some packages that start from maybe $3 to about $10-15 a month. And most hosting companies have an admin panel that you can use to manage your website. One advantage of shared hosting is that you don't really need to worry about any technical maintenance because that is all taken care of by the hosting company. There are also some disadvantages of a shared hosting. One of the most significant is that the load time can be a lot slower in comparison to dedicated server. So it might take slower for your website pages to load, again depending on how trafficked. If the traffic is quite high to your website, then it might take longer for the pages to load, especially if you're sharing the resources of the hosting server with other companies or other hosting packages. Another disadvantage is that you are sharing the resources of a computer, which is also known as a server, and you never really know who your neighbors are, so you're not sure what other applications are competing for resources on that computer with your server or with your website. With shared hosting, as the traffic increases, it also affects the performance of the website. With shared hosting, there's also less customization options, so you are limited to what you can actually customize. What is a domain name? A domain name is basically the name you give to your website. For example, google.com, amazon.com, yahoo.com, and so on. So if you have a shared hosting package or even a dedicated hosting package, you want people to be able to access your website and its resources, and the way you do that is by their domain name. So you usually have to give the domain name address to people who you want to get access to the resources. Domain names can be purchased from most hosting companies. Also, before you can use a domain name, you have to register it. And also, most domain names, all domain names are unique, not most, all of them are unique. So you cannot get two people having the same domain name. You can't have two google.com or two amazon.com and so on. It must be unique. In this video, I explained what hosting and a domain name is. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.